This is Jeff Walker. Update, I guess it would be, for May 24th, 2022. And I guess I should be commenting about what's going on with my books and stuff. Well, just recently I've turned Your Service is Required into a hardcover book, and it looks pretty good. I don't have it with me at the time, but I'll throw some images on here to show you of what it looks like. I'm way up here in my little confined office area, and most of my stuff's downstairs. I should be setting up a proper office to put all my stuff around me, but I mean, I don't know. I'm working on it. I don't really do these videos too often, so yeah, seeing myself on camera is not fun for me. Sometimes I just like to shove images in, or just I was doing my podcast instead, which probably this will be translated into a podcast. So you probably won't see the images. I might put it on Spotify, I guess. I did want to put one of my older videos up onto the podcast. Onto the Spotify. It went through Anchor FM, which is what I'm on for my podcasts. And now they have video, because since Spotify bought them out, they're putting video on their things now. So I just want to see what that was like. I don't know if I'll put this one on, but if it's there, great. So what's going on? Well, first off, I am still working on Professor Dark and Miss Shadow's novel. It's taking its time. It's taking a toll. I am so distracted of late. I know I keep promising this novel is coming, and I know that some of the readers out there that are interested after reading the short stories are looking for the full novel, and I sympathize totally. It's hard to write a full novel for this character. I don't know why. It just is. I mean, if I was focused, if I had taken the time to focus on it when I had the chance, I probably would have completed it by now, but things have come up. Other novels have pushed in themselves in the way. The Massive Planet of The Adventures of Deep Contact has actually done really well. I've had a lot of good reviews for it. An indie reader gave it a 4.0 rating, which made it, approved for them. And the person enjoyed it, despite it being a little short, he said. But I sat there and went, that's pretty long for something like that. But he compared it to a classic TV show, which is spot on. That's what I was looking for. There will be more, and I did set up for there to be more. So I'm working on that. I'm working on so many things right now. I'm still working on the Jungle Planet, which is coming along. It is coming along, and it will be done. And once I get that out of the way, I will push on to other projects, because I know I hate when I get onto projects and I don't complete them. It really ticks myself off, because I'm such a perfectionist. I want these things done. Outer Red is finally done. And I've also made a collective, coherent, completed edition. And I'm about to put that onto Lulu and make that a hardcover book only edition. I'm not going to combine it and put it on as a paperback or an ebook, because the books are already there. And the paperbacks are already there. And this is going to be the hardback version. This is the book that you want if you're a collector of the books in total. I mean, this is something I thought would be more prevalent to going into stores and that kind of thing. And if you just want a quick read, then you've got the 4 parts separated. So there you go. Originally, that was my plan for it. I made them into 4 separate parts. Originally, it was a short story to begin with, and Outer Red, and then it became into, well, I need to make them longer, and I need to make more of them, and I need to shove them out as a series. Well, unfortunately, it came under the same scrutiny of a single title. So, and essentially, I crammed them all together, and it's one book, really. This is book 1 of Outer Red, which is the how I intended it. I wanted to make it first. I wanted to make it short stories. Then I wanted to make it into combined novels or novellas, and then I wanted to make it a full audio. But that didn't really go the way. I think I separated the audios as well for those, and then I wanted to make it a full cover, hardcover book, which I did, and it's done. And I'm about to do it in June, which I hope I can release it soon. And I redid the cover for it, gave it more editing, love, and this will be my final vision of this book. And I pushed it aside and said, okay, that's done. Wonderful. Outer Red was checked off. People are going to say, like, well, aren't you going to write a sequel book for that then? Are you going to keep going? Well, yeah. If there's love for it. I've had a few reviews and some interest, but not enough to sit there and go, well, I'm going to get right on it and write another one right away. I self-published these, and finding some people to get into it, some fandom, is hard. A lot of people have been pushing their other books, and in a sea of people that are self-published, it is hard to get out there, I'll tell you. Advertising especially alone. Some people are just cranking out advertising left, right, and center, and being darn aggressive, and good for them, I say, but at the same time hurting us little guys that can't really do that. I mean, I'm pushing stuff out for audios and some contests and whatnot, but I really, really, really can't compete. I really need word of mouth to get these books going. That's the only way I can do it. But I mean, for the most part, all of my stuff hasn't met with any real negative feedback. Maybe one or two. But really, for the most part, it's been generally positive. So I'm grateful for that fact. That people recognize my storytelling, that people recognize I have some good imagination, and I'm just keep plugging away here, trying to keep going, and so I thank you for that. I also want to thank all the reviewers that took the time to read the book and enjoyed it, and made the comments, good or bad. Like I said, like I'll take the negativity as well. I never used to, and I know some writers out there hate the negativity, and then they start backlashing. And I thought, why would you do that to yourself? Just listen, review, thank them. I've had a few people come on and say some really nasty stuff, and I just said, that's one voice out of how many others that have complimented you. There's always going to be that one person or a few people that didn't like your stuff. And that's just commonplace, and you just either take it and run with it, or you just, I don't know. Some people are different in how they accept that sort of thing. But I've learned to just embrace it and keep going. I find it's better if you push. It's good. And now I'm working on another one. More books to be pushed out. Send in the Dead. That'll be a science fiction horror book that I came up with. I created the cover early to help inspire me, and sometimes I do that. I create the covers to inspire me. So I've started a few chapters of it, and I'm hoping to at least get something done by the end of the year for it. And like I said, right now I'm working on the Jungle Planet, and I'm hoping to get that done. It's getting there. It's getting there. And then when that's done, I can get back onto the other books, because I still have the Long Lost War sequel prequel book, which I keep talking about over and over and over again. I haven't touched it for so long. I'm mad at myself for not getting back on it, but then again, that's like I don't have time. Things have been pretty tense for me around here, and like all people going through stuff in life, this is what I'm going through. So everybody has to be patient with me for stuff like that. I really, really do want to get it out there. I really think that the sequel to Long Lost War is a must. Everybody enjoyed the novella so much that it was just surprising to me, but not surprising in a way. So this book I'm creating is kind of like a prequel sequel kind of book. It's like an all-in-one book. There's going to be stuff about it, about the Johns, and the future Johns, and then I have the Mysterious World of Professor Dark and Miss Shadow, their book, which again I have to get back onto. And it's hard to get back in that mindset, because sometimes when you write these things and you start going, your mind tends to wander under their other titles. And I think that's a plague for all writers that want to pump out continuous books. Now, if you're a writer and you like one specific title and you like writing for a specific character over and over again, that's great. Some of us have multiple characters that we want to tell stories for. And unfortunately, they get in the way sometimes. And if I don't focus and I don't sit down and I don't target myself on that book for like a long time, it will not get done. And that's the problem with me. I mean, I get stuff done sometimes. I got Your Service is Required out. I got The Long Lost War out. I finally got Outer Red out of my life, in a way. And I already know where I'm going for the next book 2 for that. But I'm not ready to write it just yet. I'm waiting for more readership to gain on that one, and for anyone to tell me whether or not they want me to keep going. Because if there's nobody there to say, yeah, I want another book, there's no point, really. I mean, other than me, my ego, telling me, yeah, I want another book. But, I mean, if there's no readership there, why would I continue? I will continue, but just not right away. If the need arises that, hey, more people are saying, where's the next book? Maybe that'll focus me back onto that one again. That's the thing. I said that's where a writer really needs to take shape. If somebody loves that book so much and then says, hey, when's the next one? Which is what somebody has said about The Long Lost War. Where's the next book? And it wasn't really intended to be a sequel, it wasn't going to be like a continuation. But when somebody said that, it really sparked my idea of creating this all-in-one book for it. And I thought this will be a unique book for sure. So I got to get back onto that one. And then I got to get back onto the Long Lost War, The Mysterious World of Professor Dark and Miss Shadow. I did do so many book zeros. It was a collective book, and essentially, I did do this one like a short story collective. I don't know what it was, but I want to do a short story collective of their adventures. And this will be a full novel of this one. But now I'm beginning to think that maybe when and if I get this mysterious book done, I may go back to just creating a short story collection, because I think Professor Dark and Miss Shadow works as a short story collection. More so. I mean, it's to focus on one specific novel for these two. It's hard. I'm finding it hard to place them in areas, but like I said, I'm working on it. I've I've done about 50% of the book already. That's where it's hanging. It's hanging in the 50% area. And I know I said about 80% for the Long Lost War sequel prequel book. It was more like 70%, to be honest. There are chapters I'm going to go back and redo, and add in some stuff. As you write and you start to think of other things, you start to inject chapters. And I did that with the Jungle Planet, actually. I was thinking I was on my way, getting it done, and then I realized, oh no, I've got to put this chapter in to explain this chapter. And then I went, oh, but I want to add in this because it sounds more cool. And then I wanted to, and that's how it goes. I said, when you're doing this, especially with the sequel to The Adventures of Deep Contact, or the next book. The next book, I want to concentrate on some of their characters, but at the same time, I want to keep the adventure going. So I don't know. I'm in a conflict right now of where I want to go with the Deep Contact book, because I want to kind of backtrack a bit and explain some stuff, but I want to get into the next encounter they have, or adventure. So I've kind of been back and forth wrestling with it. I've got some chapters in of each character, and I want to go back to like the beginning of their mission, the very beginning of their mission, kind of like when they're still in the Earth system. And if you haven't read The Massive Planet, I urge you to go read it. I've gotten a lot of good reviews for it. A lot of good reviews. I'm surprised Goodreads and Amazon haven't had a whole lot more, because I'm pretty sure the book has been distributed pretty well. Unfortunately, I've given away more than I should have, and that's the problem. I said, when you want to try to make these books successful, it's like you got to give away a ton of your books to be successful. And I thought, well, I know I'm not some published author with a traditional publishing company to help, with that transition. But at the same time, it's hard because there's so much competition, like I said. So yeah, I'm working on so many novels right now, so many books. I'm trying to wheel and deal my other books I've made. My full novel of Your Service is Required. It is my full novel. It is my novel to push, and I really want more people to read it and get a sense of my writing. My writing is so varied. I've written like a hardcore like that one, and then I've written sci-fi fantasy with Outer Red, and I kind of went into the mysterious horror and stuff, suspense thriller with The Mysterious World of Professor Dark, My Shadow. So I'm kind of all over the place, and maybe that's why nobody's really focusing too much on me, because I've got too many genres. Too many genres to focus on. But as a writer, I like going all over the place. I'm sorry. If I was just a genre writer, I would be boring, because then I'd be like stuck in one loop. I like multiple loops. I like working on multiple things. I wrote an even darker horror about the dark web. It was a short story. One person on Goodreads liked it, apparently, and they said it was a decent enough story. So I'm trying to write a sci-fi horror, Send in the Dead, and I want that to be like a gore fest as well. Now, like I said, I'm not used to writing horror. I'm trying my best to write horror. I know some people say, well, if you're not into horror, why would you write it? And I said, because sometimes I like writing stuff like that. Because I'm a minor fan in it. And if I'm a minor fan, can I write some stuff like that? A lot of people get a little too anal about stuff like this. I don't see the reason why you should narrow yourself to one perspective. It's just writing. imagination. Like me, I just I imagine this stuff. I imagine all kinds of stuff. So I get a little offended when people say you should be sticking to one genre. Well, that's boring. Even Stephen King isn't trying to stick to horror. He was sticking to horror all of his life, and now he's doing other side books. He's doing dramas, and I said maybe well he has that ability now to do that. But I said yeah, but writers nowadays they're more eclectic, and now that they're not tied to one specific publisher who wants you to crank out the same thing over and over and over, it's great. I mean, I've been reading a lot of books. Listening to a lot of books on my way to work. Robert A. Heinlein. I've been reading a lot of his stuff. Heinlein is good in some aspects, bad in others. He's got a lot of interesting quirks, lots of sexual tension for some reason, and he's very dated. Let's put it that way. But I mean, it's interesting to see some of his concepts. I know he was an educated man. I know that he understands the principles of engineering and stuff like that. So that's where he gets most of his experience from. Mine, I've just been exposed to a lot of stuff, and over the years, a lot of writers have. So we all know things nowadays. I do some mild research, so don't think I don't. I do. I'm not going to go into it a great deal. I mean, I'm not like one of those people that dives right in. And I've read some people that have done research and then dived right into the topics, and the books start to tend to get boring. What I focus on mainly is characterization and plot. And it shows, I think, in my books that the tech is there, the specifics are there, but you want to get invested into the people, and that's where I specialize. I specialize into the people because I want to read people that are interesting. I want to get into the action that's interesting. I don't want to get on the technical aspect and like delve into like nonsensory. I mean, it's just when I read some Star Wars books and I see how much fluff they inject into that thing to fluff out the book to a full. If you took all that out, that book would not be that thick. Especially when they start embellishing on characterizations. Like I'm all for characterization, but when you've got an action sequence, you do not take the time to fully flesh out, well, what's that guy thinking in that moment? No, the action has to happen first, and then the person can kind of reflect on it after. I get a little ticked off when I read books like that. When they start to like float the book out a little bit beyond what it was supposed to be. I hate that. I hate reading books that inflate the character more than it should. And nothing... I don't know. I get so like especially Star Wars books. I can't help but target them. There have been some good books of Star Wars, but there are some really oddly frustrating ones. Somebody told me to read the X-Wing fighter pilot ones, and I started reading them, and I couldn't care less for them, to be honest with you. They're uninteresting. Not so much for the idea of what they are, but just the way they went about writing them. Their adventures are... they're just boring. I don't know how else to put it. I can't say that I'm a fan of some of these books. And I know some writers and some of the readers of these books are just loving the Star Wars genre. But, there are some that are just absolute garbage. Most of it today is garbage. The High Republic is garbage. I don't care what somebody says about it. It is horrible. Like that should never have been created in the first place. And then have I read the Star Trek ones? Well, the Star Trek ones tend to get a little fluffy as well. I mean, but the canon's in there, and now the shows have come out and sort of based it on it, but at the same time they're doing a really half-assed job. I hate Picard. I hate the show Picard. Anyway, I hate the new shows. Discovery, Picard, even Strange New Worlds. I mean, there's something that bothers me about it. People are saying, well, it's kind of like the old Trek. No. It is not. It is not like the other Trek. I think they've tried, but they're fighting with this Kurtzman fellow because I think he's really just ruining it, everything. He's trying to make it too much about today. And I said, you know what? Even in old Trek, they didn't try to make it too much based in today. They kind of hinted at it, but didn't go out right out and saying, what it was. And I think that does a lot better way of going about it. You don't talk about today. You don't... I don't know. It's hard to say because when you're writing science fiction, you want to include things that are happening in the now, but at the same time, you have to realize that you're in the future, and what happens today probably won't happen then, or something else more major will happen in then, and you have to think about where that's going. So, I'm trying my best to write other stuff that's more interesting. So I'm writing one about a utopian society. I just started with that one. Honestly, I don't think I'll get into it this year at all. I'll probably have to force myself to do that next year. It'll be an interesting one, that's for sure. And then, because like I said, there's been a lot of negativity, so I'm trying to spin some more positivity our way. The Adventures of Deep Contact started out as a dystopian kind of thing, but I want to bring the characters back into light with the captain. There's so much conflict going on, but I want them to all eventually start to realize we are going to get there together, kind of like thing. And that's what I want. I want positivity. I'm tired of all the negativity. I think we need more positive vibes in the future. We've been aiming for like this dystopic cataclysm that we can't get out of. I mean, the environment's going, greed is setting in, the poor are becoming poorer, and, the rich are just, sitting on their mounds of money with nothing else to do but to go to Mars. I think it's time that we start spinning the positive back and trying to get humanity back on course again. So that's where I'm at right now, and my update of sorts. I'm just reminding you that I'm here. I'm writing as much as I can. So probably the book that will probably be coming out the most this year will probably be The Jungle Planet. I don't think Send in the Dead. I aimed it for this year. Man, that was ambitious. I think I just wanted to get out there and see what the reaction would be. But at the same time, I haven't even gotten past the second chapter yet. So there you go. It's in my thoughts. I'm working on it. I'm working on the Long Lost War. I'm back and forth on that one. And I'm trying to get back into Professor Darkness Shadow, but I have to get in that mindset. I have to steep myself into that for a long time, and unfortunately these other titles are taking up my time with that one. I figure once the Jungle Planet's done, I'll probably get back into that one and try to finish that up and try to target myself on certain books. Now that the Outer Red series is done, that's off my brain. So once the Jungle Planet's out of the way, I'll get back to doing that book, and then eventually I'll get into the Long Lost War sequel prequel book and focus on getting that done so that there's something of that out. And then on to my other stories. Deep Contact may come in between, who knows. I've kind of put a chapter here, a chapter there, back and forth. I'm on to, actually I've split it into like two books. One of the before their adventures and the other one after that last book. They're entering another system. So I've kind of bumped it in between. I've got some chapters here sporadic. There, hopefully the book does traction, and the Massive Planet does traction with some exposure, and more people get interested in that one. I mean, I've got my standalones. Like the Jungle Planet will be a standalone. I'm not doing a sequel to that one. Your Services Required is a standalone. Send on the Dead might be a standalone. I don't know. I'm hoping I can finish that one in time. But anyway, and I've had some other ones that I haven't finished yet. Actually, there was one about these asteroid miners that's on Wattpad. I put it on Wattpad to see what people thought of it. No generation, no traffic. There's even one about a standalone of Lunar China Red, which would be a standalone about a science fiction on the moon with China. And then there was a superhero one I'm working on. And I've kind of been back and forth on that one, which, because it deals with an indigenous superhero, which some have criticized, I know there's this big thing going on about why should you write for another, I don't want to say race, because we're all one race. It doesn't really matter to me. I think what matters is in the eyes. You have to understand you have to understand the culture. You have to understand the people. People are always going to be people. And I don't care if you're white, black, indigenous, from another belief. It's just that you have to put yourself in their eyes, in their culture. You have to research their culture. You have to know enough that you can convey the story you want without sounding like a jerk. So it's kind of on the fence for me, but I mean, I do want to tell the story, and to me, it's a story. I'm a writer. I write. That's how I am. That would be like an indigenous person writing about a white man superhero. And it happened. There's been like black guys writing about white superheroes all the time in DC, and nobody said any boo about it back then. I mean, it seems bizarre to me that we're starting to segregate the world again. But I understand. I understand that, all these years of frustration, colonization, that kind of thing, it's catching up with us all. And it's starting to take shape. And I understand that this is the time to do it. At the same time, you cannot blame the entire race for it. You cannot blame so many people for something that happened. Is it our fault that it happened? Yes. Let's be honest, like, it happened because of certain religions. It happened because of certain things, in effect. And it happened because of rich people. Let's put it out there right now. The rich is what spun the world the way it did. Attitudes need to change. Thoughts need to change. People just can't accept, it's how it's going. And I understand that. It's fear, and fear often gets in the way of progress. So I guess that's where I'm at right now. And I will try to put this video out soon. I know I said it was the 24th, didn't I? So it probably won't be done for a while. Whenever this video gets out. So at the time it was May 24th, 2022. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. That's what I thought. That's my process. I just thought I'd come in here and give you an update of where I'm at. Jungle Planet, more than likely, going to be the first book that's going to be out soon. The Outer Red book, actually, the hardcover, will probably be done sooner rather than later. It's probably going to come out in June, because I'm still trying to convert it onto the Lulu site, and I want to make sure I got everything right so I don't screw it up, because I've screwed up some books before with the way that they were put on. Your service is required came, and it looked great. I did the cover right. Everything looks great. The formatting, everything, perfect. I'm not touching that book. I'm leaving the way it is, and it looks amazing. And I hope it gets into stores soon, because I did put it in for distribution, and I'll see what the store owners think. Anyway, it is print on demand though, so I mean, let's face it, the cost of things are going up. Groceries are going up. My gosh, are they going up? Gas, holy mackerel, is it going up? The world is just spinning out of control right now. It's amazing to me how we've just destroyed ourselves. Actually, it's not that bad. No, it is that bad. We have destroyed ourselves. Let's put it that way. I mean, we had all the warning signs, and still people did not listen, and they kept going and going. And all these science fiction writers have been warning it for years. We've been telling people for years. Nobody pays any attention. Sometimes I think humans are too ignorant to understand themselves. But anyway, like I said, for now, in this one person, my books are coming. I hope you read them. I hope you review them. Please review them. I'd love to hear feedback. And that's what all writers need to hear is feedback, especially self-published writers. We need your support. Go out, buy the book, and show that that's the support you want to do. I mean, the books, I'm trying to keep them reasonably priced. The hardcovers more so because they're hardcovers and they're much more harder to produce, right? So, but I mean, get the audibles, get the ebooks, paperbacks, whatever you feel would best suit you. I'd love to hear. I'd love to see you review. I'd like to see you comment to other people about the books, or push them to other places, reviewers, promoters. Am I desperate for asking? Maybe. I don't know. But I think it's good to spread the word. And for now, I'll just leave it at that. And I thank you. And hopefully I'll talk to you again soon. Maybe not in video. Maybe just in audio. All right. Bye. This has been a Jeff Walker's Books discussion. If you like this program, please subscribe. And if you want to read more of his books, The Long Lost War, The Massive Planet, The Mysterious World of Professor Dark and Miss Shadow, please visit his website at jeffwalkerbooks.weebly.com. Please, if you feel the need to review one of his books, he would be ever so grateful that you would. You may go and visit it on Amazon or anywhere else where books are now available.